saying good morning. It is Thursday morning. Let me see. What else is it? It's Thursday morning. It is, are we still into March? Yes, we're still into March. And, it's a beautiful day in Florida. Sunshine, a little bit of white fluffy clouds. As I'm looking out of my window, I can see the palm trees outside blowing. Am I giving you all of you who are out there in the snow, what do you think of me now? Do you think of me as that very cruel person? But it is beautiful here. So, all right. So, welcome. First of all, I'd like to say good morning to Grey Eagle, who, as always, is by my right side. I would also like to say good morning to Chris. Are you there, Chris? Is there anybody there?
I am here. Good morning, Rosemary. Good morning, everyone.
So I think we should have a little bit of fun today. I don't quite know what sort of fun we're going to have yet, but I think we should have some fun because I'm feeling a little perky. Do you know what that means, Chris?
Oh, I can't wait. If you're feeling perky, what's going to happen?
I'm not quite sure why I'm feeling perky. I got up I got up in the middle of the night. I'm going to be very personal now, everybody. Got up in the middle of the night to pee, and I went into the bathroom and I heard a pitter patter of little tiny feet following me as they always have done. And I just caught a glimpse of Cachorio there.
Oh, nice.
Which was really nice. So maybe that's why I'm feeling happy, because I'm feeling a little bit more settled that he's fine and that Minio's fine and that all the puppies are fine. Oh my goodness me. I also had an email yesterday from the daughter of a very old friend, her sister. So I know it's a bit convoluted, but she was actually saying that she'd also lost her little puppy and that she was struggling. So for all of you out there who have had a loss of this kind or are suffering a loss, whether it is a puppy or a kitten or whether it is a pet or beloved pet, or whether it's a beloved partner, sister, brother, mother, whatever, whether it's a beloved child, whatever it is that is, that is out there for you, that you're suffering with, that you're struggling with, please know that I'm sending prayers out today to everyone who has had a loss or is suffering a loss at this moment in time. All right, so bearing in mind that I do actually talk to dead people who we don't believe are dead at all. I want to mention again, because we're getting ready to set stuff up, I want to mention, watch out for it. We're going to start webinars, and that's plural, Chris. We're going to start some webinars where I am actually going to be giving messages to people. I'm going to be giving messages from the spirit world to those people who connect with our webinars and get on board with our webinars. Grey Eagle and I are going to be giving messages. We're going to be talking to those in the spirit world, because it's probably one of the nicest things I love to do. It might be perhaps even the best thing that I love to do. All right, now having said that, I was thinking this morning about my daughter and my grandson. And I was thinking, our theme this month is, looking at our young selves, looking at what advice would I give my young self. We did all of that last week. We had some great responses. We had some great suggestions from people. What advice would I dare to give to my daughter if she were in the mood to take my advice? What advice would I give to my grandson? So I think this month is all about us taking a look at our own experiences. It's about taking a look at the things that we have struggled with in our past, or the things that we've done that have been great and have been successful. And how do we teach those who come after us? What do we show those who we love, who come after us, like our children or our siblings, or even what can we teach our parents? Um, can we teach our parents anything? I remember my father was always was tough as leather um, on the outside, and promoted that toughness on the outside. And I remember one time I was feeling a little melancholy. My boyfriend had gone off on vacation and left me behind. Not that I could have gone with him, but my father, I was playing the piano, and I was sort of playing. Used to go into the sitting room and play the piano all by myself. It was a room that nobody else really ever went into, unless of course we had visitors. And I was there and I was playing the piano, and I suppose I was playing some melancholy music, and my father came, opened the door to the room, and he beckoned me like this. And, we were terrified of my father. We never quite knew what mood he was going to be in. We never quite knew what he was going to say. We never ever knew if we were going to be in trouble. And usually, if he was beckoning us, or if he was, in that vicinity, it would be because we were in trouble. So I sort of nervously got up from my piano and went to the door. And he said to me, "Hold out your hand." And I held out my hand, and he put a stone, a big heavy stone from the garden, he put it into my hand. And he said to me, "I want you to make your heart like that stone." Now, in his mind, he was giving me some great advice. Don't allow people to get to you. Harden your heart to the things that are going to upset you. Don't, sort of guard your emotions. Um, for all that, of course, I knew immediately that the advice was wrong advice. I knew that I wouldn't take it. I knew that it was, when I say wrong advice or not the right advice, I'm talking about for me. Maybe for other people it works, but for me, I knew that, well, I knew I could never do it. Um, but uh, he was trying to help me in his very tough soldier like way. He was saying to me, in a gentle way, actually, in a good way, get a grip, stop letting other people get to you, don't fall into that emotional trap. And he was saying that to me because I think that he had learned through his life um, not to get stuck in that emotional trap, because he was stuck in a marriage that he didn't like. He was stuck with a woman that, I mean, they hated each other fiercely. They had nothing in common whatsoever. But as I got older, and as I got a little wiser, as I had my daughter, my father changed. Not so much around most people, but with Samantha, with my daughter, he was like a different person. He taught the parrot to say her name. You would walk in, the parrot would be screeching, "Samantha Jane, Samantha Jane." He taught the parrot to say her name. Every time if we came into the house, he would be there somewhere around, watching her, watching over her, taking care of her in the best way that he could, in his fierce and gruff manner. And I think that he learned from all of that time when I was young, to say to me, harden your heart, basically, make your heart like this stone. From there to then having this granddaughter. Now, he had other grandchildren, but I think probably he saw more of Samantha than he did any of the others. And he just loved her. And I think he learned to soften his heart. Maybe not to my mother, definitely not to my mother, but he learned to soften his heart to my daughter. And through that, and also talking with him as he got older and I got older, I think he learned to soften his heart towards me too. And we ended up having the best relationship, the very best relationship. So we can teach not only our children, we can teach not only those who come after us, with our actions, with our words, with our deeds, with the things that we share. Sometimes we can teach the old dogs new tricks also. What do you think, Chris?
I think a life of growth and progress is what we all aim for, even if we don't speak it out loud.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, so as it is, as the theme is advice, what advice would we give ourselves? What advice, if we dare to give advice to our children? Of course, our children never take our advice. Did we ever take our parents' advice? I just showed you that I certainly did not take my father's advice. So, what advice could we give, and how can we teach? We teach uh, through our actions, not through our words. So let's look at, last week we looked at the words that we might say. What would we say? What would we actually do? What would I do? What would I do now to show my young self that that it's okay to be the best that she can be? Well, I guess by my actions, I show that I have dared. I've dared to face Daniel in the lion's den. I've dared to stand up and be counted. I've dared to go on TV shows where people have thought that I was crazy. I've dared to stand up and say, I talk to dead people. I've dared those things. So not only have I given my young self the advice, I've shown that it, through my actions, that it works. And I think that part of the problem young people don't take our advice is because very often we give advice, we talk about it, we talk about what they should or shouldn't do, but we have no a proof in the pudding, for instance. We've got, you know, uh, well, if I were you, or I would do this and this, but they look at us, well, did you do this and this? And we can say to them, we learn by our mistakes, we should have done that as well. But if we can show them that, look, I did this and this, and although I was shaking in my boots, it actually worked and it was successful. I think it's not just about words, it's about showing our children and showing our parents and showing our friends that you know what is it they say, talk is cheap, what is that phrase, it'll come to me in a minute, when I know what it is, you can talk the talk, but can you walk the walk? So I want to hear from all of you out there who actually have examples of not just talking the talk, but walking the walk. Right, Chris? What do you think?
Absolutely. We could all use that and boost each other up.
Okay, over to you.
Well, we don't have any answers to that as yet, Rosemary. We
Wow.
have mostly hellos and good mornings from everyone. The first question we have is Marlo, who says, "Hi, please, I want to know about my father."
Um, well, right now, as I've said, we will be doing our webinars, and that does mean I'm not going to give messages, but right now I don't see anything or sense anything. So let's move forward, shall we?
All right. In the same venue, Sherry says, "I'm sorry if I have asked so many times." Rosemary says, "Keep trying, so I am. I would love so much if my friend who passed in 94 would speak with me. It's been really hard since this happened."
Keep trying is my answer to that. I'm sort of, I don't know if this is actually connected. Who is it who's asking this question?
Oh, I don't think I said so. Sherry.
Sherry. Sherry, I don't know if this is for you, but I'm getting a, yeah, I have someone here who died due to an odd accident. Um, yeah, um, no more yet, but we'll see. We'll keep working on that. I'm hearing that again. Um, yeah, so I have someone here connecting. Is it with Sherry? Yes, it's with Sherry. So Sherry, it may well not be the person you're looking for, but I do have someone here who died due to an accident. If I spent enough time working on this, we wouldn't have time for anything else. But I do have someone waving at you. So I know that whoever this is fine and does want to get in touch with you. So let's leave it at that and move on for now, Chris.
Okay. Cheryl answers to your earlier comments. The cost of love is being willing to let them go.
Yes, absolutely. Keep going.
Denise is asking, when will you come to Italy?
When I'm invited. When I'm invited. I was supposed to come to Italy last year. I'd even got the flights were even booked, the dates were sorted out. I was going to come in July, and I'd planned to stay for about 10 days. Uh, and then COVID happened, and so everything was cancelled, unfortunately. So uh, if you know, I'm just waiting for an invitation. And if anybody in Italy or anyone else, anywhere else in the world would like me to come and visit, uh, you know, buy me a plane ticket, find me somewhere to stay. Chris, are you going to come with me?
If I'm invited, absolutely.
So hey, I'm just throwing it out there. Okay, Chris.
All right. Mark from Tulsa says,
Hey,
Ro-
Mark.
Rosemary, I can't wait for this next webinar. Funny how you spoke about, in quotation, traps. I feel trapped. So much has gone on lately with my life. As you know, my spirit guide, Aldea, and Angel G have been embracing me for change, and I'm worried that I have 2 years before I can retire, and now my job has been changed and being ventured into a new path. And will I be able to handle these new changes?
Oh my goodness.
My heart is heavy, and I know Great Eagle sees and knows all. Affirmations, I believe, is what I'm needed to boost me. Help from Tulsa.
Right. Mark, look me in the eyes. You are so strong. You are so protected. You are so where you're supposed to be, even though it might not feel that way right now. Be patient. You are strong enough and you are capable enough to deal with these changes. There'll come a time when you'll move away from all of this stuff that's going on that you'd prefer not to be involved in. Be patient. You can do this. You know, I did say to you, your boiler is going to be fixed. Let me say this: you're going to be fixed. So don't worry, Mark. You'll be fine. You're doing fine. You are exactly where you're supposed to be. Not necessarily where you want to be, but you're exactly where you're supposed to be right now. Because through this and through going through this, difficult time, you're going to learn so much, and you're going to build your strength for when other things, better things, exciting things will come. Chris.
Sherry says, I've watched and listened for years. I never thought you were crazy, just loving and caring for others.
Well, thank you. But Cheryl, listen, I always think, this is of course my own feeling here, I always think that the best of us, the the funniest of us, the most joyful of us, are a little tiny bit crazy and don't mind being a little tiny bit crazy. You know, I walk into a store, I've got a big smile on my face, I nod at people, I say, they think I'm crazy. You know, who's this person? Who's this person who's smiling? What is she smiling? What's she got to smile about? I talk to, Chris, you'll bear me out with this, right? I talk to anybody and everybody. I'll go on the street and I'll start having a conversation with somebody, right, Chris?
Absolutely.
It's like, uh, and you know, there are people who think I'm a little bit crazy, but um, you know, when you have so much joy within you, even through the sadnesses, even through the heartache and the heartbreak, my darling little puppy, let me tell you, I miss him every single day. And so many times I wake up in the night, or when I get up in the morning, you know, I look for him, and he's not where he usually is. Even though we have traumas, we have difficulties, even though sometimes I can't walk straight because my back is crooked, in my heart and in my soul, there is so much joy. You know, I look at my daughter and I look at my grandson. They are my life, and I thank God every day that I have this fantastic life. Does not mean it's a perfect life. Does not mean that we're not suffering. But I urge every one of you, through your struggles, through your pain, through your difficulties, don't forget to peek at the joy that your soul is experiencing, just being alive, just being aware, just being, you know, just living this life. I think we should realize, easy for me to say, I know, but I think it's so important for us to realize that one of the greatest gifts, not one we want, I can tell you now, not one we want, not one we necessarily appreciate, but one of the greatest gifts is the gift of tears and the gift of pain, because it is through those things that we become who we are. We learn who we are. We learn about empathy. We learn about compassion. We learn about empathy for ourselves and compassion for ourselves, but we also learn how to give compassion to others, how to feel compassion for others. And I think that, you know, not just addressing Mark, but I want Mark to say to you, you've got so much joy within you. You know, it's easy to become down, isn't it? It's easy to get depressed, but dig deep and find the joy and the love of life that I know you have. And I'm going to say that to all of you. Dig deep, and even when you don't feel like being, you know, thinking about the good stuff you have, even though you just want to bury yourself in the moans and complaints, and I know what that's like, but even when you want to feel that way, you know, sort of, you do it for a little while, you're entitled to do it for a little while, and then quit, then start looking at the good stuff. Chris.
Carolyn's asking, I
Hi, Carolyn.
wonder I wonder what we could put in our own daughter's hand to represent their heart. Something beautiful and soft.
Oh, nice, I like that. But have you got any ideas? Let's think about it. What could you put in your daughter's hands? I know that I know what God put in my daughter's hands to show love, and that was my grandson. Um, what what have I put in? I'm thinking, what did I put into her hands? Uh, I put, I gave her the knowledge that she is well loved. When I was carrying my daughter, the one thing I kept thinking about was I did not want to be the mother like my mother. I wanted to be the best mother I could be. And I couldn't figure out what it was that I needed to do. And I had a lot of time to think because I was on a 9-month bed rest with my child. So I had a lot of time to think. I grew very fat, you can imagine. What could I give to her? And I kept thinking, what can I give to my daughter that, you know, would make that I wasn't given, that made me insecure. What could I give to her? And I realized very quickly that the only thing I could give her that was of any real value is the knowledge that she's well loved. So giving it, it's not enough to say to somebody I love you. It's not enough to say to my daughter or to my grandson I really do love you. What you have to do is you have to show that love every single day in the small things. So placing small words of kindness, small words of comfort, placing sort of, hugs and kisses, uh, just small things, showing interest in what they do. That those are the sorts of things that I give to my child and my grandchild, because I insist to myself I have to give them that knowledge. There's never any doubt ever in my daughter's mind that she is well loved by me, and there's certainly never ever any doubt in my grandson's mind that he is well loved by me also. I mean, it's just the way it is. So I think giving them the knowledge, the absolute conviction and knowledge that they never have to question that they are well loved by at least one person in their lives is so important. Chris.
Shaz says, Dear
Hi, Shaz.
Rosemary, my father has been in and out of the hospital since October. He's become very negative, understandably. It's been a traumatic 18 months since my mom left us physically.
Oh,
Do you see any reprieve for us? I feel so drained.
oh, my darling. Well, the first thing we're going to do is we're going to, if you would allow us, we're going to put you and your daddy on our healing list, and we're going to send you our healing prayers every day. It is such a struggle, isn't it, when you are the carer, when you are the one worrying about, your loved ones. It is it's a great burden to carry. So if I can just say to you, yes, there will be respite. Spring is coming in more ways than one, not just the weather, but in your heart, in your soul. I feel that spring is coming. I think that you're going to feel lighter. I think you're going to feel better. And I think that spring is coming for your father as well. I think he's going to somehow accept, and part of his the biggest struggle for him is that he just can't accept at the moment being on his own, being sick, feeling helpless. Goodness, you can understand why he's depressed. But if you could give him a message from me to say that he is not on his own, that his loved ones in the spirit world are very, very much with him and taking care of him. And again, I hear Grey Eagle say, especially to your father, but also to you, spring is coming. Chris.
Suzanne says, Dear Rosemary,
Hi,
is there a
Suzanne.
message from the spirit world for me about my relationship with my parents? This moment, they won't speak with me. I said some things and that hurt them. What can I do?
Um, oh, sweetheart. You know, you've got we. It's so easy, isn't it, for us to say things and hurtful things, and it comes from probably us being hurt. Um, However, your parents need a good kick in the bum, because parents are there to. That's what we're there for. We are the kicking post. We are we are the ones who take the brunt of our children's wrath, disappointments, etc., etc. And it's easy for us. Not one parent is perfect, and I think it's only when you have your own children that you realize, oh, wait a minute, maybe my parents weren't that bad, because I was expecting them to be perfect, and now I realize it's impossible for any parent to be perfect. Here's what you can do. First of all, you can stop feeling guilty. I am sure that the words you said to them, I'm sure that the things that you said to them have been buried deep inside you for a long time. And, I think what you have to do is to understand you really could have said it better. You could have said it differently. So this is what I did once when my daughter stopped speaking to me for all of, well, it actually was a few weeks. And this is what I did, and this is what I'm going to suggest that you do. And anyone out there who's having issues in this way. So what I did was I would call my daughter. I would often call her when I knew that she'd be out at work. So I'd call, and the machine would pick up, and I would just say, "Hi, it's Mum. I'm just calling to say I love you, and I'm thinking about you." Click, that's it. I'd send a card. I'm just writing this card to say how much I love you. We didn't write emails in those days, but you could write an email just saying I love you. What you have to do is you have to reach out in these small ways. It might take a few weeks, it might take a few months, but what you have to do is you need to just keep reaching out. In other words, keep letting them know, I'm not giving up because I love you. And so, send them a card every, once a week or once every 2 weeks, or send them some flowers, or just, just small tokens. Let them either through cards, letters, phone calls. If you send them a letter, keep it brief, can you? Don't go on into everything. All you need to say to them is, I love you. That's all. Pick up the phone. I love you. I hope you're both doing okay. Click. Don't even wait for them to reply. Just keep it up. Don't give up. Don't give up on the relationship. They're obviously hurt right now. They're obviously in pain right now, but they do need a good kick up the bum, because they are the parents who, should be reaching out and should, they're hurt, but they also should understand that life is short. Things could happen in a heartbeat, and you don't stop talking to the people that you love. You don't do it. It's like so childish, and sulking will get you nowhere but more and more heartache. So any of you out there who are not speaking to somebody because they hurt you or offended you, get a grip and grow up. Take your life into your hands. Take the responsibility. You were wrong, my darling, to say the things you said in the way that you said them. But I don't think you were wrong in saying what you said. You might have just found a nicer way to do it, or a less aggressive way to do it. But you can make it right. You just have to be patient. Don't think you're going to get a response straight away. Be patient and be persistent, and just wait for them to come around. They will come around. Don't worry. They will. It might take them a little while, but they will. And you also might want to send them this, because, if it's taped or whatever you're doing with it, I'm telling everyone out there who's not talking to somebody they love, grow up, fix it. Fix it. Life is short. You have no idea how many people in the spirit world I come across who will say, we were estranged, and I wish I'd done something. Well, you know what? Don't wish about it. Don't hope about it. Just do it. Show that you love them by your actions, but keep it brief. Chris, do you have anything to say about that?
Um, no, I mean, I can't add to anything that you said, because you're right on the money.
Okay. All right. Oh gosh. So many people don't talk to somebody. I've not talked to my sister for years, blah blah blah, or I've not talked to so on and so forth. That's fine. If you know what it is that you're doing and you're not going to have any regrets about doing it, it's fine. But if you truly love somebody and you want a connection, you want a relationship, fix it. Fix it, fix it, fix it. And as far as parents and, children are concerned, if you want that relationship, and there are times when you don't want the relationship, and there are times when the relationship isn't worth fighting for, but this young lady is obviously wanting to fix it. So call, write a card, I love you. That's all you have to say is, I love you, I miss you. That's all you have to say. Don't write a litany. Do not, by the way, and I love you all, but if you're going to write to me, can you keep it brief? Because yesterday, Chris and I sat yesterday afternoon reading email after email after email. And I love the fact that you write me emails. And I love the fact that you tell me your stories. I really do. But when it goes on and on and on, and then on and on and on, it's hard to read it all because you got several other people waiting behind for you to read theirs too. So, keep it as brief as you can. If you have a story to tell, don't tell the backstory necessarily. Don't, anyway, you know what I'm saying. Um, keep it simple. All right, Chris, I'm laughing because by the end of yesterday afternoon, I don't know about you, Chris, but boy, did I have a headache.
Well, you were answering emails for hours, Rosemary. So,
Yes, I know. Well, all right.
all right. So, Mark is responding to you from your earlier comment. Oh, Rosemary, one of my favorite quotes is, I'm holding to the ground as the ground keeps shifting, keeping my balance square, not knowing where life will take us, and to be firm. I have shared and given this advice to many, and now, once again, I'm faced with earth changes in my life path.
Now you've got to take your own advice, Mark.
Don't you hate it when that happens?
Yeah, I know. You know what I really sort of get very nervous about when people. I had a lovely lady here yesterday afternoon. She came for a consultation, and she apparently, I didn't realize, but she'd had a consult with me about 15 years before, and she said, and I remember you said, and I think, oh no, I sort of get very nervous when people say, and you said, and I think, oh gosh, what did I say? What did I say? Yes. But yes, when our own advice comes back to bite us in the bum, it's not always good, is it, Chris?
Oh boy, and it rings deep too.
I know. I
Yeah.
know.
All right.
Okay.
Well, Cheryl says actions speak louder than words. Trying something new, no matter if we're good at it or not, won't know unless you try. Put yourself in the other person's shoes is also powerful.
Oh yeah, I love that, Cheryl. Good job. Good job. Good advice. Great. Yes.
Mary says, this weekend I'm meeting with my sisters on my late father's birthday. Is there any advice for myself or sisters from dad or mom?
Um. So I have several people in the spirit world wanting to gather together for this for you, but I have to listen to Grey. I wish I had more time to do this for you, my lovely. But here is what I feel that your family in the spirit world are saying to you. Hope I can get this right. Embrace each other. Embrace the differences. Stop judging. They are not like you. They don't always behave like you. They certainly look at things from different points of view. Instead of, and this is for all of you, instead of criticizing or not understanding the differences, embrace the differences. You are family. Embrace each other, accept each other, love each other. Good advice, I think. So
I'm
there you
writing it
are.
down.
There you are. You can take that with you to visit when you visit with your sisters. Chris,
Adele would like to know, can
good morning,
dogs
Adele.
become angels?
Sorry, what?
Can dogs become angels?
Can dogs become angels? Well, my puppy was always my angel. All of my puppies, in one way or another. Can they? I think if you're asking, can they become beings of light? I don't know. I'm listening to Gregor here. I'm asking Gregor this question. Uh, so I'm going to say, generally speaking, no. But they are our angels, beings of light, definitely. Messengers, purely and simply messengers from God. I'm not sure, more complicated It's a more complicated answer, but I know that my puppies were my angels, and I'm sure yours are yours too. Chris, interesting
Way,
question, that question.
yes. Way Busy is commenting that crazy is good.
Yes, you see? Good. I'm glad you agree with me. Keep going.
Sherry says, I agree. What a wonderful life. I've really learned through this pain I've had.
Good.
And
Good.
then Cheryl says, another good gift is the gift of forgiveness. That is such a freeing feeling.
Well, I agree with your sentiments. Um, let's just throw this out here. Why not? And let's see what you all have to say about this. Because I have a very different take on the idea of forgiveness than I think most people do. Um, I I actually do not forgive. Um, I don't forgive. I don't not forgive. I think that in order to forgive, and again, this is only my own take on this, in order to forgive, I think first of all you have to judge. And I don't think I'm in a position to judge anybody. Although, of course, we all do it, don't we? We do sort of do that little judgmental stuff, you know. Gosh, that skirt she's wearing is far too short for her, that sort of thing. You know, we do have our little judgments. But seriously, I don't think that I think that in order to forgive, you have to judge, and in order to judge, you have to know all the ins and outs. You have to know all of the background of why somebody is the way that they are, or why they behave in the way that they behave. And I'm not qualified to know all of the stuff that made this person the way they were. Um, Funnily enough, twice yesterday, and during consultations, twice yesterday, I spoke to two mothers in the spirit world who I would say, by their own words, they were absolutely not good mothers, and in fact, awful mothers. Um, by their words, not by mine. But when they began to explain, not to make excuses, but to explain the reasons why they were the way they were, it was so much easier not to forgive them, but to simply accept them, accept who they were. And I speak about this with my own mother, who was a loving mother to my youngest sister, without a doubt. She was a different mother to my sister than she was with me. She had four daughters, but when you have a mother who is explaining and talking animatedly about the holiday that she went on, the vacation, and she met this great guy, and then she said, and I told him about my three lovely daughters, and you know that you're not the one included in that. You know, there's, you wonder what makes this person this way. And I remember when this happened to me, I was standing at the sink peeling potatoes, and I could feel the lump in my throat. We were at my house, my mother was at my house at the time, and I can remember the lump in my throat, the tears stinging my eyes. I kept saying, as I'm peeling this potato, don't cry, don't cry, don't let her see you cry, don't let her see you cry. And there was this sort of silence in the room after she said it for like a whole, you know, several seconds. And then all of a sudden, to you know, to, as if to excuse herself or blow it off, she said, well, you and I were never close, were you? Um, well, why was that, Mother? Why were we never close? Because when I was young, I had nothing to do with that relationship. It was about how you dealt with me. So we look at people, and instead of judging, because it's easy for me to judge my mother, to say, oh, you know, she's this, this, and this. I don't know what made my mother the way she was. I don't know what it was about me that made her the way she was with me. I have little inklings. But instead of forgiving, I would much rather simply accept this is the way a person is. I can't do anything to change them. I'm simply going to accept them warts and all, and I'm going to hope that for all of my faults and my failings, people will see the same with me, hopefully not judging me too harshly, but accepting me warts and all, for the person that I am. So I'm sort of not, I know it's an odd thing to say, but I'm not that big on forgiveness because I'm not that big on judging. I think in order to forgive, you've got to judge. But I do understand the sentiment and I do understand what you're saying. And I think it's wonderful for you that you've been able to do these things. Chris.
Mark says, Rosemary and you and Gray Eagle are amazing inspirations to me. I've been a fan since the 90s, and you moved me to tears many times. And as an old boy that I am, I have joy, I have love of myself. I'm unsure if I will have a real love of my own. However, I've had this amazing idea and plan that I've decided to take a retirement cruise for at least 14 days to Europe or somewhere enchanting. I've decided this is going to be all first class, for I've never flown first class.
Wow.
It's so firm in my soul to do this.
Wow.
This is for September of 2023.
Can I
Come
come?
join me and Chris, you too. Will this be my lifetime journey?
Wow. Well, it sounds it's your lifetime journey, Mark. If you make it that way, I want to come. I definitely want to come on this, on this trip with you. It sounds amazing. And I'm so pleased for you that you've got this goal in mind and that you've decided to do this because this is giving you something to really, really look forward to. So, yeah, book me a ticket. Chris, keep going.
Benedetta says, Hi, I have never talked to my grandfather. His name is Mario. I would like to know how he is. Also, I have a question. After so many years, do the dead forget us?
No, the answer to your second question is how can you forget those you love? It's not possible. Um, do you forget them? Um, no, if there is a relationship and if that relationship is one of love and one of hope and one of understanding and one of joy, um, or even if it's one of not so much joy, uh, no, I don't think, I can't speak for every person who's ever died, but generally speaking, better no, they don't forget us. They don't. And you need to start talking to your grandfather. And more importantly, start listening. Yes, Chris.
Vicky says, I'm feeling like a disappointment to my loved ones who have passed, especially my son. I am overwhelmed by having two moms in their late 80s living with me. I am not always the most patient with them.
Oh, Vicky. Wow. How did you get to, how did that happen to you? Um, that's tough. That's extremely tough. Look, stop being so hard on yourself, my darling. Um, of course you're as patient as you possibly can be. Of course you're not. My goodness. I mean, you know, uh, I mean, you'd have to be a saint, and you're not. So don't give yourself a hard time because you're not. When you know that you're not as patient as you should be, you know it. That's the point. You know what you're doing. You accept what you're doing. You try to adjust. You try to be patient. Uh, that in itself, you certainly deserve a medal as far as I'm concerned. Vicky, 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 your loved ones in the spirit world love you. They are not disappointed by you. They feel so proud of you, uh, and understanding. When you snap, when you lose it, when you're irritated, I mean, come on, you're human. So cut it out. They love you. Your son loves you. Be proud of who you are. You're doing the very best that you can. And that's all that any of us can hope to do. Chris.
Betta says, Dear Rosemary, yesterday I found in a drawer a beautiful picture of my beloved grandparents during a family party. I often think of them. Is it your opinion this is a sign for me?
Oh, yes. I mean, definitely our loved ones in the spirit world can, help us to find things. I'm looking for a certain thing. I've had out every cupboard and every drawer. I've searched in the garage at least a dozen times. I have absolutely lost something. I cannot find it. It's just, and let me tell you, I'm saying to Greg all the time when I lose something, can you help me? Can you give me a clue? And generally speaking, it works. So our loved ones in the spirit world will help you, and also they will sometimes put something right in your way so that you cannot avoid um, seeing it. So yes, better. I think it definitely is a sign from your grandparents that they're there with you and that they love you. Absolutely. And you're asking a question you already know the answer to anyway. Um, but if anybody out there has got any ideas of how I can find what I'm looking for, I'd love to know. You know what I haven't done yet? Um, and it actually does work. That thing, have you ever done this, Chris?
Are you talking
Oh,
St. Anthony?
is Oh, Saint Anthony, please come around. There's something lost that must be found. And then you turn 3 times around and there it's supposed to be. Haven't tried that yet. Maybe I'll try that later on today. But I'm sort of at a loss because I've literally had practically every drawer, and I've got lots of cupboards, right, Chris? Got lots of
And
cupboards
you're
in
so
this.
organized.
Lots of cupboards. I know. It's not even as if I don't know where anything is. You open my cupboards, it's very scary in this house. Would you agree, Chris? Very scary. You
No, it
open the
just makes me
cupboards.
laugh.
What?
It just makes me laugh.
It's really scary. People get very scared about this. You open my cupboards, my drawers, every single drawer, everything has a place. Everything is organized. It's really, really scary. All my towels are in sizes, shapes, everything's folded just so. I cannot find this one thing that I'm looking for. And so uh, I'm hoping I haven't thrown it out. I can't imagine that I would have thrown it out. But anyway, I'm going to try the St. Anthony later on. Better just be really joyful. Your loved ones in the spirit world are showing you these things. Great. Keep going, Chris.
Ollie Wea says, Hello, Rosemary.
Hi.
My best friend's grandma just died today. I don't know what to do or what to tell. Maybe a message from her grandma would help.
Um, this is what you do. Now, I don't know whether you live close to each other. I know we've got COVID on the rampage and all the rest of it, but I wouldn't let that stop me. So if you can get to her easily, you go to her and you hold her and you tell her that her grandma is safe. You tell her of your beliefs in the afterlife. And then you just say to her, I'm here. Just know that I'm here anytime I'm here. And then be quiet. Just stay by her side. If you can't do that physically, then what you do is you call her up. You must be in contact with her to know these things anyway. I'm here. I'm always here. If you want someone to talk to, pick up the phone. I know that your grandmother's safe. I know that she's well. If you want to talk, we can talk. Just be there. That's all you have to do when you know that someone is suffering. You don't have to do anything special or particular. Just be there. That's all you have to do. Just be there. If it were me, I'd jump in the car and I'd be there. You might, lots of people say, well, I can't intrude. It's a family thing. Even if you knock on the door and just say, or if you call her up and say, I'm sitting outside in my car outside, and I just want you to know I'm here. Just so they know that you have made that effort, that you care enough. Just don't be afraid of doing the wrong thing, because the wrong thing to do is to do nothing. Chris.
Leslie says, my hubby Wayne has been around a lot lately. I know he is loving our little grandson. Is there a reason he is around beside that? Very curious if there is a message. My life has changed so drastically in the past year for the good.
Um, all right, this is coming from Grey Eagle, but I think this is sort of from your husband through Grey Eagle. So I'm going to say that this is what I'm being told to tell you, that I don't know who you are. What's this lady's name again?
Leslie.
Leslie. Your life, you already said your life has changed. So much for the better. And I'm going to tell you that I feel that your husband is around you, urging you to continue doing what you're doing. He's supporting you. He's letting you know that he's supporting the changes. He's supporting this new, beautiful love. He's supporting the family. He wants you all to know that he knows what's going on and that he's supporting it. And he's very, very excited. And finally saying, he says, and finally, she's smiling. That's all I want. So, Leslie, your husband knows you're smiling, and that's all he wants. Chris.
Frankie says, hi, Rosemary. Why do
Hi,
some
Frankie.
people carry trauma with them from a young age? What is the purpose of this? We've only got about 3 minutes left, Rosemary.
I'm sorry, what was that again? I'm sorry. Something
Uh,
about somebody carrying trauma?
yes, why do some people carry trauma with them from a young age? What is the purpose of this?
Um, well, I think many, many people have trauma in their young lives. What you do is not, it's not about the experiences that you have. It's about the attitude you have towards those experiences. It is about the knowledge and the learning process. And some people wallow in these traumas and can't look can't look further than the end of their nose. They're so hurt and so uh, destroyed in so many ways by the trauma because they have chosen to hold on to it too tightly. We all have choices. Everybody has trauma. It's about the attitude that we use and the way that we carry that trauma. You know, our scars. I was talking to my grandson the other day. He was talking about his mummy's scars, and I was showing him my scar, which it sort of goes from literally goes halfway around my body. I say it. There are two scars next to each other, starting in the just below my uh, belly button and coming all the way round and up and way up into my ribs. So, you know, you can imagine that sort of if I laid on my side, they'd be able to crack me open like that, which they had to do. And I have two scars running either side, running side by side. So it's a wide scar. And so so Reese was running his finger down it, sort of, we were exploring my scar. I can carry that scar, I can carry that trauma, I can think of those things and I can think of them in the negative, or I can think of them, and not only physical scars, but emotional scars as well, or I can carry them like a badge of honor. Uh, these are my battle scars. I'm proud of them. These are the wounds that I've had to endure. I'm proud that I have survived them. So, whether they are emotional scars or whether they are physical scars, we decide. We decide, are we going to let these traumas define us, or are we going to let them refine us? I choose to allow my scars to refine me. So you don't have to carry it as a burden. You can carry it as a joy. You can carry it as, hey, look what I did. Look what I got. But when my father left the army, he had many, many medals. Those medals represented all of the many scars, many physical and many emotional, that he suffered throughout the war. We all have our scars, our medals. Don't let them define you. Don't let them destroy you. You know, when Reese was running his little finger down the scar and feeling the scars, and he said to me, "Does it hurt, Mosey?" No, it doesn't. It doesn't hurt. It's a joy. It's a joy to share that with him, because now he sees, if I can deal with that, if I've had that trauma and I've dealt with it and carried it and I'm proud of it, then he can do the same in his life. So we have to make sure that our children understand these are our battle scars. We should be proud. Chris, I think that's it. Is there
I agree.
anything else we need to address before we close?
No, I'm just typing in now into the chat room ways to reach you and send questions. We hope to see everybody Saturday on your show at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard
Yes,
Time.
I think what we're going to do on Saturday, somebody wrote in, lovely person wrote in and said, "Can you explain a bit more about rescue work, Rosemary?" There are so many different facets of my work and my job, and we talk about rescue work, rescuing lost souls. So I thought that I would tell a story about a rescue, and then maybe we could discuss why sometimes it's necessary to do rescue work. So that, I thought that might be an interesting little topic for us. I'm sure that we'll visit it again and again and again, because it's a very interesting topic. I find it interesting. The problem is that when people say to me, "Can you explain this or that?" When you explain it, all it does is it poses more questions and then more questions. So the explanation leads to more and more questions. So don't expect to get all of the answers. Just expect to be intrigued and to find many more questions that you have. So I'm thinking that that's what we shall do on Saturday. If there's time, I'm not sure if there will be, but if there's time, we'll also be reading somebody else's story, because we're asking people, if you have a story about your connection with me, or an experience that you had with me, or even an experience that you've had your own self, if you have a story you think we'd be interested, please write to us and let us know. You can email Chris, K-R-I-S, at rosemaryaltea.com, or you can simply email rosemaryaltea.com. Rosemary at rosemaryaltea.com. Or you can go to the website, rosemaryaltea.com. If you would like a consultation, again, email Chris. Put in the subject line consultation, please, because then it's easier for us to get to you as quickly as we can. If you want to know more about our books, our CDs, our webinars, all of that stuff, again, if you go to the website, there'll be relevant information there. But if you want to ask more questions, please email us, Rosemary at rosemaryaltea.com, or Chris, K-R-I-S, at rosemaryaltea.com. That's it for today. Thank you, all of you, for joining us. I'd like to say thank you particularly to Great Eagle for being with us and spending time with us. I'd like to say thank you to Chris. Thank you once again. And I'd like to thank all of you for joining us. I hope to see you 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. In other words, the same time, same place that you found us here. We should be doing our restream, so you can reach us on YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, golly, anywhere. We're all over the place. Look for us. Look for me, Rosemary Altea. Go to our website, rosemaryaltea.com, and you can find out all about us. I shall see you on Saturday morning for our story time. And again, I think we're going to be talking about whatever it is I said, rescue work. What is rescue work anyway? What do I mean by it? Join us on Saturday and you'll find out. In the meantime, please, all of you out there, thank you so much for joining us again. And please have a very, very blessed and a very wonderful rest of the day. Bye-bye, everyone.